When almost every fan thought that they would sell the club and allow the new owners to spend whatever they needed in the summer transfer window, this did not happen. But one thing we have learned from the Glazers is that we should never, ever underestimate the greed that they possess. If you look up the definition of greed in the dictionary, I bet you'll find a photo of the Glazers next to it. Welcome to the Man United stream for your daily news and opinion about Manchester United. We have a jam-packed show today for all of you, discussing Leon Goretzka, Rasmus Højlund, Harry Kane, the Glazers, Harry Maguire, Kolo Muani, and Jean Todibo. So let's kick off today's show with the news that Manchester United are looking to sign Leon Goretzka from Bayern Munich, and Bayern Munich are willing to let him go. Their manager Thomas Tuchel has his top CDM choices as Kimmich and Lemaire. That means that unless one of those players gets injured, Goretzka will spend most of his time on the bench this coming season. In fact, if you take a look at Bayern, you will see that they have a huge talent pool to pick from when they need a defensive midfield player. They also have the rising young talent of Gravenberch available. Therefore, Goretzka might be willing to leave and join another top club in Europe this season. This news was broken by German Sky Sports reporter Florian Plettenberg. He confirmed that Man United had already placed Goretzka on their wish list and were waiting to sell some players before turning their attention to bringing in new players. That's all the information we have right now on Goretzka, but I am going to find out some more information on Goretzka and see if there's any truth in this and if Manchester United are going to make any moves for Leon Goretzka. We also found out that Ten Hag, the Manchester United manager, is not done signing new players. Ten Hag wants at least another 3 to 4 more new players. Ten Hag still wants another striker. I've been saying this now for a number of shows, and I guess Ten Hag has this base covered. This is why I really like Ten Hag. I believe in this manager. He knows exactly what he's doing and what is needed and gets things done. Manchester United still, in my opinion, need a solid, reliable, proven striker. Someone with a little more experience than Højlund. Højlund is a signing that will need time and will need to be protected. I cannot see Ten Hag throwing him in the deep end right at the start of the season. It would be foolish of us to throw him in the deep end, and if he feels there's nowhere for him to go, nowhere for him to hide. We heard this week from Atlanta manager Gasperini that Højlund is a very cocky young striker, a confident striker who believes in his abilities, and he will one day be the very best in the world. It almost reminds you of how Cristiano Ronaldo was when he was young. He was also a very cocky, confident teenager when he first arrived at Manchester United. And we do not want Højlund to lose that confidence. And by placing him in a situation where he's at risk of losing games, maybe not playing as well, maybe struggling, he would be at risk of losing his confidence very quickly. It is therefore imperative, in my opinion, that we also go out there and get a proven goal scorer, someone who can handle the pressure and get the goals. Ever since we heard that Harry Kane was up for sale last week, I have been mentioning him in nearly every single show I've been doing because he would be the perfect player to bring in. He was and still is Ten Hag's number one target this summer transfer window. But as each day goes on, we keep hearing that Bayern are closing in on Harry Kane. It's a great shame because Harry Kane was ready made for Manchester United. If there was ever a striker that fit into the way Manchester United are currently playing, it would be Harry Kane. And as a club, Man United suit Harry Kane also. He would love to have played for United, the biggest club in England and an iconic club all over the world. Before I forget, please hit that like button, and if you're enjoying the video so far, go ahead and subscribe so you can watch more of our content and keep up to date with all the Manchester United news. If you're a Manchester United fan, it's essential for you to subscribe, and if you're not a Manchester United fan, I would still argue that you subscribe to keep up to speed on the biggest club in the world. You know it makes sense. Also, leave your comments below on what you have to say about Manchester United and what we have discussed today. I actually want to say a big thank you to all those fans who are leaving leaving their comments and interacting with our channel. We have had fans all over the world, from Singapore, Australia, India, Nigeria, South Africa, Canada, leaving their comments, showing their love for the channel and supporting the channel. So big up to you, thank you so much. So coming back, Ten Hag has big plans and has not finished. That's what we're hearing. Whilst we all thought we would be lucky to get Amrabat in and that would be our last signing, Ten Hag has got bigger plans in motion. Yes, he is not finished and he is looking for more players to bring into Manchester United. Amrabat is most likely not going to be our last signing. I do believe that if we get Amrabat, then we'll not need to bring in Goretzka. Amrabat is a 25-year-old and therefore younger than the 27-year-old Goretzka, but both players are very good in their own right. But if I was guessing, I'd very much doubt that Goretzka would be valued in the same region as Amrabat. Amrabat is valued in the region of about 25 to 30 million, and I believe Goretzka would probably be double that. So could United even afford Goretzka? I don't know. Well, the budget this transfer window has been a huge problem for Man United. Our budget was always going to be small because the Glazer family decided not to sell the club and torture the fans for all our sins. The Glazers decided not to tell anyone about not selling the club either. When almost every fan thought that they would sell the club and allow the new owners to spend whatever they needed in the summer transfer window, this did not happen. But one thing we have learned from the Glazers is that we should never, ever underestimate the greed that they possess. If you look up the definition of greed in the dictionary, I bet you'll find a photo of the Glazers next to it. Because of the no sale, Manchester United and Ten Hag are having to sell players to then allow them to buy new players. Manchester United have spent the budget for the summer transfer window on the 3 players that they brought in so far and are now out of cash. The only way we can bring in the likes of Amrabat is if and when we sell some players. And unlike Chelsea, who it looks like sent a nice glossy brochure to the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia detailing all their players, United just sat on their hands hoping that someone will consider their long list of players that needed to be sold. As I said in yesterday's show, United are not really good at selling players. If there was a table listing all the clubs on how well they sold players and how much money they made from them, I can bet you Manchester United will be somewhere near the bottom. We are just not good at selling. And this being bad at selling has now come to bite us on the backside. Manchester United are now desperate to buy new players, but we can't get rid of any of our old players. To be fair, this also has a lot to do with the salaries and contracts that these players are on. Most of these players will be lucky if they get even half of what Manchester United are giving them right now with their new clubs. Okay, let's head back to what we were already discussing just before we went off on a tangent with the Glazers. It was about Ten Hag still looking for a striker. Now, Harry Kane apparently is not liked by the Bayern fans, who feel that paying 100 million for a 30-year-old is a waste of money and have made their feelings known to the Bayern board. So let's see if that deters the Bayern board from making any more bids to Spurs for Harry Kane. But let's be honest, even if Bayern don't get Harry Kane, I find it hard to see how Spurs will sell Kane to United. And now with United's money restraints, I'm not sure if United can even consider bidding for Kane. Well, if Harry Kane is not coming to United, then who else can United really go for? Remember, we need a proven goal scorer with experience. I'm not going to lie, I'm struggling to find anyone that meets that criteria and is affordable. Do you know of any striker currently on the market available that is within that criteria and within the price that Manchester United are looking for? Leave your comments on any strikers you think could be brought to Manchester United. Are we missing someone really obvious? Manchester United get linked to every player and they aren't in each and every transfer window. So we all know United get linked to many strikers, but genuinely, is there a realistic target Man United are looking at? There was talk earlier in the transfer window about Kolo Muani, but I would say that he does not have the experience that we're probably looking for and he's still on the younger side. I don't know about you, but I'm really excited about all this talk about more signings. I believe that if we have any chance of really competing this year, we need to strengthen the depth of our squad. without more top players coming in, we will get found out very quickly as soon as the season starts. 1 or 2 injuries will open up a huge gaping hole in our squad. We need to have quality replacements, and that is very obvious, and it's obvious to Ten Hag also. I really hope we get the players in we need. I'm positive about the whole transfer window. With the Glazers not selling the club, I was fearing the worst for this transfer window, but Ten Hag has remained focused and got those people at the club making the signings to pull their fingers out and make the signings needed. I believe that he will do the same in the rest of the transfer window. Earlier this week, we had breaking news reports that the Glazers had put a pause on the sale, citing that they didn't get high enough offers for the club and therefore will wait and sell the club at a later time. Hopefully, when someone crazy enough will turn up and offer them triple what the club's value is. Because 2 crazy businessmen turned up to the Glazers and offered them almost double what the club value was, and clearly that wasn't enough. When this story broke earlier this week, we saw that the next day the share price of Manchester United fell pretty sharply, around a drop of 2%, which is a lot in the stock market world. We then got a news report, I believe from the Mirror, a UK based newspaper, saying that the sale process had not been paused and that the Glazers were actively engaged in the sale process, and the 2 bidders were also. So essentially we're getting conflicting reports on the sale. Which one is the truth? Your guess is probably better than mine. Some people have commented that the second report was only published so that the share price would stop falling any further, which would help the Glazers. The Glazers want the share price to remain high so that the club is valued higher at a sale. The lower the share price, the less value of the club, and thus this helps any buyer who could argue that they were offering much more than what each share was worth. I'm not sure what to believe right now, as we have had many false stories about the sale of Manchester United. No story has been accurate, and it's clear to me that no one in the world apart from the Glazer family know what their intentions are for Manchester United. I do not believe the bidders are still engaged in the process, and I think the Glazers are stalling, or else we would have had leaks coming from either bidder saying that they were moving forward with the wholesale process. The wholesale of the club has clearly had an impact on the summer transfer window. We are now in a position where we're waiting to sell players like Fred and Van de Beek to make some money and go buy other players. For a club the size of Manchester United, we should not be operating in such a way. But I guess that says more about the Glazers than about Manchester United. One signing that we have got through the door is Rasmus Højlund, and we're hearing that he has signed a 5-year contract with Manchester United and will most likely be introduced to the crowd in the friendly match against Lens this Saturday afternoon at Old Trafford. I will be at the game at Old Trafford and be looking forward to seeing him and hearing the crowd's reaction to him. It's going to be something special, I can tell you that much. There is no better feeling hearing Old Trafford crowd rocking. It's a special atmosphere. In other transfer news, we are hearing that Manchester United are looking to sign another backup goalkeeper. There are reports coming from CNN Turks via Turkish Football that Man United have made contact with Fenerbahce's 25-year-old goalkeeper Altay Binder. Let's see if United can agree something with the club for this player. It's reported that the player has a £6 million release clause in his contract. United do need a backup goalkeeper, and a £6 million signing seems like a bargain. Yesterday we also heard the news that the Manchester United board, or at least some of its members, sat down with Mason Greenwood to discuss his future or no future at the club. I'm guessing we will hear soon what Manchester United decide on the Greenwood issue. We also have not had any further news on further offers and negotiations on Harry Maguire to West Ham. West Ham made an initial bid of £25 million last week for the Manchester United centre-back, which was rejected by Manchester United immediately. West Ham have not come back with a higher offer. I do hope West Ham can come back with an increased offer for Maguire and reach an agreement for his sale. I think it would suit both Man United and Maguire if he joins West Ham and gets some regular game time. There is also breaking news that Everton have approached Harry Maguire and are considering making a solid bid for him. If this is true, it looks like finally clubs have sat up and started to understand that Harry Maguire is still the England captain and still has a lot to offer some Premier League clubs. I don't think it's right for an England captain to be sat on a bench for the entire season, making only cameo appearances in maybe some cup games. If I was an advisor to Harry Maguire, I would certainly explain to him that playing regular football would ensure that he holds on to his England captaincy and place. If Harry Maguire is sold, then Manchester United are already lining up some replacement centre-backs for Harry Maguire. There's lots of talk of Todibo coming in as a replacement for Harry Maguire. That would be a very, very good signing. He's a young 25-year-old centre-back playing in the League One right now in France. He is a very good centre-back, and I think he could do really well in a Manchester United team going forward. So let's wait and see. These are all rumours about Manchester United and who they are considering to bring in if Harry Maguire does decide to leave. So before we close the show for today, we just want to tell you that we have now started our new channel membership. All of you can become members of the Man United Stream channel. You can get extra perks on being members, so go and check them out and become a member and support our channel to grow even more. We aim to become one of the biggest, if not the biggest, Man United news and opinion channels in the world, and with the support of the fans, I'm sure we will get there. Hit that like button on the video, share it with your friends and family, and subscribe to the channel so you do not miss a beat on all the Manchester United news. You were watching the Man United Stream, a channel by the fans for the fans. Goodbye.